The internet is on fire again, and this time, it's not just another celebrity rumor, it's them. The names that never seem to die online. Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, new clips, strange behavior, old wounds reopened. And fans? They're spiraling. I miss you, Justin. That one line, echoing like a ghost from the past, has pulled millions back into a story they thought they'd left behind. Their love story was unforgettable, but their breakup, it was legendary, messy, public, and emotionally radioactive. So now that new footage is surfacing, the question is inevitable. Are they back together, or are we witnessing something deeper? A cycle the internet can't stop replaying? Let's break it down. What's really going on? The viral confusion. What fans think. They saw Let's start with the elephant in the room. Are there actually new videos of Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez together in 2025? After digging deep, cross-checking sources, and tracing the digital trail, here's what the evidence says. No, there's no credible footage showing Justin and Selena reunited, so why does it feel so real? Because the internet is masterful at blending reality with emotion, especially when nostalgia is involved. What's actually happening is a storm of overlapping signals, misunderstood clips, misinterpreted posts, and pure digital delusion. The key first spark. Justin, imitating Benny Blanco, yes. There is a viral video, but it's not what people think. It shows Justin Bieber wearing a short black wavy wig and a hat, mimicking someone in a bizarre, exaggerated way. The internet lit up. Is he mocking Selena's fiancé Benny Blanco? This TikTok, shared by the account Maca2, exploded in March 2025. Media outlets like Metro Ecuador and T13 confirmed the video shows Bieber parodying Benny, not interacting with Selena at all. Some fans laughed it off, others called it petty, but most agreed. The timing was weird, still it wasn't a reunion. It was a solo act that fanned the flames of speculation. The meme game? Subtle shots? Or coincidence? Next came the memes. In April 2025, Bieber posted a series of cryptic memes that fans immediately dissected. Were they subtle jabs at Selena? Or was the internet just reading too much into it? According to BuzzFeed and Daily Mail, some posts felt pointed, like he was saying more without saying anything at all. Again, Selena wasn't in these posts, not physically, but emotionally. Her shadow was everywhere. It was enough to send fans into overdrive. Recycled nostalgia, the past never dies. Online, then came the older clips, videos that never really left the internet, but suddenly felt new again. The 2012 Call Me Maybe skit resurfaced, playful, innocent, and aching with history. Media outlets like Mirror US and J14 reran pieces about it in April 2025, reminding everyone why this couple captivated the world in the first place. Another video, from a deposition, where Justin was being questioned about Selena, went viral again. Have you ever talked to Selena about paparazzi? Don't ask me about her again. He repeated it like a trigger was being pulled, over and over. It wasn't new footage, but it hit like it was. The radio call that haunts fans ND. Then, the infamous call, an old radio interview. Justin claims his mom is on the line, but the voice is unmistakable. Selena. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I miss you, Justin. You could feel the air get sucked out of the room. He tries to cover it, jokes about it. But fans knew. They always knew. Why it still matters in 2025. So let's be clear. There is no new video showing Selena and Justin back together. No secret rendezvous. No confirmed reunion. But that doesn't stop people from believing. Because when it comes to Jelena, logic doesn't win. Emotion does. And in an age where nostalgia spreads faster than fact, even a decade-old video can feel like breaking news. Why do these clips keep coming back? Because they were never just clips. They were emotional anchors, reminders of a time when love felt public, raw, and real. Even if the footage is old, the pain and fascination still feel fresh. And when platforms like TikTok resurface them, fans don't ask, "Is this new?" They ask, "What does it mean?" In April 2025, a throwback account reposted a 2012 video with the caption, "Some stories never really end." And that's what this is. Not a news cycle, a resurrection. The Jelena effect. Why the past still owns the present. The breakup happened in 2018, yet here we are, still clinging, still scrolling, still hoping, because Jelena wasn't just a relationship, it was a cultural moment. Their love story wasn't private, it was ours. And so, when a rumor surfaces, a wig, a meme, a grainy clip, it doesn't take much. People fall in because deep down, part of them wants it to be real. But what's the truth? Right now, the truth is, both Justin and Selena have moved on. Publicly, deeply, officially. Justin married Hailey Baldwin. They reportedly welcomed a child in 2024. Selena is engaged to producer Benny Blanco. As of December 2024, 2 separate lives, 2 new stories. So why do fans still resist reality? Because Jelena wasn't just tabloid fuel, it was a shared fantasy. A story of young love in its most dramatic, cinematic form. And those don't fade quietly. How this digital delusion works. Here's what's really happening behind the screen. Viral videos of Justin mocking Benny is interpreted as emotional instability. Meme. Posts decoded as hidden messages to Selena old clips. Misremembered as new leaks. It's not evidence, it's projection. It's the internet constructing a narrative, piece by piece, like a fan fiction script that refuses to end. But to really understand it, we have to go back to why Jelena mattered in the first place, to how 2 kids with fame, pressure, and a million eyes on them became the center of a generational obsession. To understand why even a grainy, recycled video of Justin and Selena still makes headlines in 2025, we have to rewind. Not just to their love story, but to the world that watched it unfold. Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez weren't just another celebrity couple, they were the crowned prince and princess of a generation raised on Disney Channel reruns and YouTube premieres. Their relationship didn't happen behind closed doors. It happened on red carpets, in Instagram comments, through cryptic tweets and paparazzi chases. And for 8 chaotic, breathless years, from 2010 to 2018, it became the kind of saga that felt personal to millions of fans around the globe. It all started innocently enough. In a 2009 radio interview, Justin named Selena as his celebrity crush, a moment that now feels like a butterfly flapping its wings before a hurricane. Their teams arranged a meeting. Friendship turned to romance, and by the time they were spotted together in late 2010, the internet had already decided they were endgame. The confirmation came on New Year's Eve in St. Lucia, sealed with a kiss and 1,000 flashbulbs. From there, it was a dizzying public romance, formalized at the 2011 Vanity Fair Oscars party, then mythologized when Justin rented out the entire Staples Center for a private Titanic screening. These weren't just celebrity moves, they were grand, performative gestures that blurred the line between fiction and reality. But behind the perfect photos were real cracks. By late 2012, after nearly 2 years together, they broke up, the first of many. Reports cited trust issues, conflicting schedules, and the sheer pressure of being young, rich, famous, and watched. But even in their off periods, they were never far apart. Between 2013 and 2017, they fell in and out of each other's orbits like planets on misaligned timelines. In between, there were others. Hailey Baldwin, Sophia Richie, The Weeknd, Zedd, but none of those pairings ever captured the public's imagination the way Jelena did. Then came August 2016. Justin posted pictures with Sophia Richie, fans attacked, and Selena entered the chat, literally. In the comments, she shaded him for complaining about backlash, and in return, he accused her of cheating. She fired back, hinting that he had been unfaithful too. Zayn Malik's name was even dragged into the mess. It wasn't just a breakup anymore. It was a social media war, raw and radioactive. That digital feud became the unofficial obituary for their love story. Yet even then, the door didn't fully close. In late 2017, after Selena's life-threatening kidney transplant and her breakup with The Weeknd, she and Justin were seen again, biking, praying, smiling. Fans held their breath. Maybe, just maybe, this was their final reconnection. But by March 2018, it was over. For real this time. And within months, Justin proposed to Hailey. He was married by September. The abruptness of it all left fans reeling. How do you go from biking with your ex to marrying someone else in 6 months? Was it closure or emotional whiplash? In the years that followed their final split, the emotional aftershocks of Justin and Selena's relationship continued to ripple through pop culture. Neither of them disappeared into silence. Instead, they both spoke through what they knew best: music, interviews, and art. For Selena, the pain surfaced in 2019 with the release of Lose You to Love Me. It wasn't just another breakup ballad, it was a raw confession. With lines like, "You replaced us in 2 months," it laid bare what millions of fans had speculated but never heard confirmed. And when she later revealed in a 2020 interview that she had endured emotional abuse during the relationship, the narrative shifted again. This wasn't just a tragic love story, it was survival, heartbreak, and healing under public scrutiny. Selena's documentary, My Mind and Me, released in 2022, pulled back the curtain further. In it, she called the breakup the best thing that ever happened to her. And it showed. She was growing, personally, professionally, spiritually. But even in that growth, the shadows of her past still lingered. Her name remained tied to Justin's in every headline, every fan theory, every TikTok compilation. Justin, on the other hand, carried his own version of the story. In interviews, he once described their relationship as a marriage kind of thing. Intense, consuming, and impossibly serious for two people still finding themselves. His life too evolved rapidly after the breakup. His whirlwind engagement and marriage to Hailey Baldwin in 2018 seemed like a clean break from the past, but fans weren't convinced. Every smile in a photo, every lyric in a song, every nervous glance in a documentary was dissected for signs that he hadn't fully let go. The world wanted closure, but closure doesn't trend, longing does. Despite their efforts to move forward, the fascination never truly faded. If anything, their separate lives, marriages, engagements, career milestones became proof to fans that their love had been real, raw, and too big to be ignored. They were no longer just Justin and Selena. They had become something more enduring, a myth, a digital campfire around which people still gather years later to wonder what really happened and what could have been. To truly grasp the intensity of Justin and Selena's story, we have to understand the forces that built them, and ultimately, the forces that pulled them apart. Before they were lovers, they were icons in the making. Two young stars hurtling toward fame from radically different starting points. Selena Gomez's rise was classic Hollywood. Child star on Barney and Friends, breakout lead on Wizards of Waverly Place, and a carefully curated transition into music. She followed the blueprint: studio contracts, red carpets, and teen idol roles. By the time she formed her band and released albums like Kiss and Tell and A Year Without Rain, she wasn't just Disney royalty. She was a household name with chart-topping hits and a loyal fan base. Justin Bieber's trajectory was a storm of another kind. His was the first true YouTube to superstardom phenomenon. In 2007, he was just a kid from Ontario posting covers on a grainy webcam. By 2009, he was signed to Usher's label and climbing the Billboard charts with One Time. Then came My World 2.0, Baby, and global hysteria. Justin didn't walk into fame. He was launched into it, full speed, by the internet. While Selena's more fame felt methodical and staged, Justin's was chaotic, fan-fueled, and viral. And that difference in how they got famous became one of the key tensions in how they lived with fame. Because fame, especially at that scale, rewires everything. Their relationship wasn't just between two people, it was between two empires. Every kiss was photographed, every fight was headline news. The pressure to stay relevant, stay loved, and stay together in the public eye turned their private lives into performance. And as their careers skyrocketed, Selena headlining world tours and voice acting in billion-dollar films like Hotel. Transylvania, Justin selling out arenas and breaking YouTube records. The distance between who they were and who they were expected to be kept growing. Their paths to the top weren't just different, they were built on completely different frequencies. Selena was measured, cautious, strategic. Justin was impulsive, explosive, emotionally visible in ways that both captivated and concerned. And when you mix that kind of pressure with youth, insecurity, and heartbreak, the cracks don't just form. They explode in public as their careers soared. The weight of being watched, constantly, endlessly, began to crack the facade. Justin and Selena weren't just exes, they were symbols. And when symbols falter, the world takes notice. Selena's controversies were often quiet storms, moments of cultural tension rather than public outbursts. In 2013, she performed at the MTV Movie Awards wearing a bindi, sparking backlash for cultural appropriation. Critics called it disrespectful, others dismissed it as harmless styling. But it wouldn't be the last time she'd be caught in the crossfire of culture and fashion. In 2016, dreadlocks in a photo shoot reignited the same debate. And each time, she stayed mostly silent, letting the storm pass, a strategy that earned her both grace and criticism. Then, there was her 2014 rehab stint for mental health and exhaustion, a turning point she publicly acknowledged later. But at the time, it left fans and tabloids scrambling for answers. When she posted a photo just weeks later holding a drink, sarcastically captioned, it stirred anxiety. Was she spiraling or reclaiming control? The truth, as always, was harder to pin down. Even her 2020 collaboration with Blackpink, seemingly lighthearted, came with backlash. Fans thought a stuffed poodle in the video was a jab at Taylor Swift. Others felt her presence overshadowed the K-pop group entirely. Nothing was ever just a song, a photo, or a choice. Everything had meaning, even when she didn't mean it to. Justin's spiral, by contrast, was loud, public, unavoidable. In January 2014, he was arrested in Miami for drag racing under the influence, with alcohol, Xanax, and marijuana in his system. His mugshot, smirking, unbothered, went viral in seconds. Then came the egging scandal, the neighbor complaints, and the $20,000 in property damage. Each headline chipped away at the pop prince image fans had built for him. But the worst hit came in 2014, when two old videos surfaced showing a 15-year-old Justin making racist jokes and using the N-word. He was a teenager, yes, but the fallout was massive. He apologized, met with civil rights leaders, and tried to change. But some scars linger longer than apologies. And then there were the moments that were just bizarre. Like the time he urinated in a mop bucket at a nightclub and sprayed cleaning fluid on a photo of Bill Clinton, yelling profanity. Or his guestbook comment at the Anne Frank house in Amsterdam. Hopefully she would have been a believer. The internet called it tone-deaf, self-absorbed. Some called it harmless immaturity. But together, these missteps painted a picture of a young man unmoored by his own fame. Through it all, comparisons with Selena only intensified. She was cast as the composed survivor. He was the chaotic flameout. But the truth, as it always was more complicated. They were both growing up under pressure, both making mistakes, both trying to reclaim a sense of self in an industry that sells illusion. For all the chaos, for all the headlines and heartbreak, something remarkable happened after the storm. They didn't disappear. They evolved. Both Justin and Selena found ways to reclaim their stories, not by pretending the past never happened, but by reshaping it into something stronger. For Selena, that meant choosing vulnerability, not as weakness, but as a brand of power. In interviews, in documentaries, in her lyrics, she started saying things the public didn't expect. That she had been broken, confused, emotionally burned, and yet she survived. Her music changed. Her voice deepened. Songs like Lose You to Love Me weren't just commercial hits, they were emotional exorcisms, drawing a line between the girl who loved too hard and the woman who learned to let go. But she didn't stop at music. Her role in Only Murders in the Building proved she wasn't confined to teen dramas or pop ballads. She had range. She had humor. She had depth. She became the most followed woman on Instagram, surpassing even the biggest names in the industry. And with that came a different kind of pressure, to stay real while living a life that few could understand. Somehow she managed it. With every candid quote, every unscripted moment, she built a relationship with her audience that felt less like celebrity and more like kinship. Justin, too, chose a path of reinvention. After years of reckless spirals and tabloid mockery, he took a breath, and then, slowly, began to rebuild. Not just his career, but his soul. He spoke openly about mental health, about faith, about his marriage to Hailey, not as a fairy tale, but as a deliberate act of healing. His albums began reflecting that shift, more introspective, more spiritual, less about flexing and more about feeling. He began sharing his struggles without shame, showing fans that transformation doesn't come from perfection, but from perseverance. Together, separately, They became something rare in celebrity culture. Two people who had been consumed by the machine and then crawled out of it with scars, but also with wisdom. They became more than pop stars. They became symbols of survival. And maybe that's why the world still can't stop talking about them. Because in a space obsessed with collapse, Justin and Selena quietly modeled how to rebuild. So here we are in 2025. And somehow, the shadows of a love story that ended 7 years ago still stretch across the internet like it never stopped. New rumors, old clips, subtle digs, viral reactions. But beneath it all, this was never really about whether Justin and Selena are together again. It's about why we still want them to be. Because their story isn't just theirs anymore, it's ours. It became a mirror, a symbol, a memory of what love looks like when it's messy, beautiful, public, and real. We watch them fall in love like a movie. We watch them fall apart like a headline. And now, every time a voice clip resurfaces or a TikTok trend pulls them back into focus, we feel that old pulse again. That ache for something familiar, unfinished, unforgettable. But maybe the point isn't whether they'll ever reunite. Maybe the point is that they don't have to. Because what they gave us, the intensity, the heartbreak, the chaos, the growth, still lives on. Not in a new video or leaked message, but in the way their story shaped an entire generation's view of love, fame, and healing. Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez may have moved on, but Jelena, as an idea, as an era, as a feeling, never really left. And maybe that's why the internet keeps resurrecting them. Because some stories don't die. They just echo, again and again.